Hey, I'm back, and today I want to talk about an article from the Washington Post. And the article was talking about the death of guitar. And so I read this, and it does make some good points, but overall I disagree with the main ideas. But before I get into that, I just like to say this is my 99th video, and one of the reasons I want to do this is because on Saturday I want to release the 100th video, so I'm going to try to do something special. Also, if you like these videos where I'm talking, let me know and I'll do more of them, because I've been looking for ways to increase the number of videos, but it's a little bit harder if I'm just doing lessons or tutorials and things like that, so this might be a good way for me to do that, and if you like them, I'll do more of them. Anyways, back on subject. So this article talked about the death of guitar and how bad guitar companies were doing, and the state of guitar. And like I said, they did have some points, but they mainly focused on Gibson and Fender. And I know that seems a little logical because those are the two biggest guitar companies, right? True, but the problem is both Fender and Gibson are older companies, and they've kind of cannibalized their own business. Both of them sell expensive guitars, although they do have cheaper lines, but both of them have financial problems that have nothing to do with the actual guitars selling. And also, I don't know about Fender, but I know Gibson, people talk about their quality control, and they've just made other stupid decisions with their guitars, like the self-tuning guitars, which nobody liked, and various other things. I'm not a vintage guitar person, so I don't have a Les Paul or a SG or a Stratocaster or Telecaster, so I'm not really in their market. I'm not a guitar collector. But there are lots of people that like these guitars. The problem with it is, like I said, they're cannibalizing their own business. The people that like those kind of vintage guitars, the collectors, they like older guitars. So of course you're not going to be able to sell them lots of newer guitars. Why is somebody going to pay $4,000, $5,000 for a new Stratocaster or a new Les Paul when they can get an older one that for that same amount of money, or even $1,000 more? If somebody says I used to love Jimmy Page when I was younger, and you can get a 1970s Les Paul for, let's say, $8,000, but the new one is this is a reissue just like Jimmy Page actually used, and it costs $6,000 or $5,000, most people are I'd just rather pay the extra money for the vintage one. And not only that, the vintage one is probably going to at least keep the same value and may even go up. The new one's a 2007 Les Paul. Is that going to go up in value? Maybe. It may go down in value. You don't know. So it's not necessarily a good investment. So that's one of the problems. Also, like I said, they invested in lots of things, and they're just doing stupid things with their money. I think they should have looked at some other companies, because what about Sir Guitar, I'm sorry. Those, they came out, I don't know, I started hearing about them 7-10 years ago or so, and I remember ooh, people were really talking about them. It seems like they've gotten more and more popular. Or recently I saw the Kessels. My friend was talking to me about these, and I was like, Kessels? And I was like, I remember that name. Isn't that the one Alan Holdsworth used? They're a division of Carvin. And he showed me some new ones, and I was like, whoa, they're actually doing some new stuff. They have 7-string, 8 strings. They have ones with fan frets. They have headless ones. I was like, these look really interesting. If I was going to buy a new guitar, and maybe I will in the future buy a 7-string or something, that's the type I'd like to get. Or maybe, since I live in Japan, one of the things I might like is a headless guitar, just because it's smaller and it's lighter. And like I said, I don't have a car, so for me to take something on a train and carry it long distances, I want something light, so it's not killing my back like the Schecter is. Oh, I love that guitar, but it's too heavy. So with Fender and Gibson, they don't really have as many options as I would like, but that's another story. I think it's just too crowded, and the people they're trying to sell to, they already have the product. If you want a Fender or a Gibson, there's plenty of them out there on the used market. And besides that, people have the internet now. It's not like before where you go to the pawn shop, oh, no Gibsons, have to buy a new Les Paul. Now you can just look on the internet. There's plenty of people selling Les Pauls, Stratocasters, etc. So that seems more of a personal, I shouldn't say a personal, a company problem for those two companies, not a industry-wide problem, I should say. On top of that, they say guitar isn't popular anymore. But I was like, compared to what? Isn't it still the world's most popular instrument? It was a few years ago. And I know people say like, yeah, but lots of music now doesn't use guitar. And it's true, there's lots of hit songs that don't have any guitar in them, or it's not featured prominently. But think about this, think about drums. How many songs use drum machines and not actual drums? Tons. How many songs don't use pianos? Tons. How many songs don't use electric bass? They use synthesizer? Tons. Is it really any worse than any other instrument? And think about guitar compared to saxophone. I looked this up the other day about saxophone solos. In the 80s, there was tons of saxophone solos in pop songs and rock songs. I can't even remember the last saxophone solo. The last one I remember actually is a Katy Perry song, Friday. And that was years ago, and that was like an 80s throwback. Saxophone is just falling off the map. Same thing with violin. How many songs feature violin sections or string sections? How many feature electric pianos, electric organs, church organs? Is it church organ dead? Is electric organ dead? Is electric piano dead? So I don't know what they're talking about. There's more songs featuring electric guitar than almost any other instrument. The only one I can think of there's probably more of is synthesizers. And to be honest, when they're used, are they actually used as instruments? It seems like more they're programmed as opposed to somebody actually playing the synthesizer. It's just people programming it. So I don't know what they're talking about. On top of that, they're talking about like guitar heroes and things like that. And they're saying like, oh, you know, Taylor Swift is the new Van Halen. Like, perhaps that's true. I mean, I guess it's inspiring people like Ed Sheeran and people like that. Personally, I don't like that type of music, but it's fine. Other people like it. They're buying guitars. And on top of that, I think there's a fairly healthy internet community for guitars. So if you want to go out there and, you know, find new guitar players or interesting guitar players, they're out there. There's tons of people making music, and I think there's still people out there that actually want to learn guitar, whether it's for like a beginner level, like I just want to learn a few chords so I can, you know, sing with my friends around a campfire, to people like, I kind of want to play around in my city, to people that, you know, want to be some guitar hero shredder. All sorts of people, and I don't think it's really going away. I just think it's not as popular as it was, which is fair, but before it was the most popular instrument where almost everyone was trying to be a guitar player, and, you know, you had people, I'll buy a guitar, and then they'd quit after 3 years. And it seemed like almost everyone was doing that. That's unrealistic. I mean, what other instrument do people do that with? There's nothing. So, and on top of that, they're talking about the industry, but to be honest, I think lots of the traditional companies in the guitar industry really just don't know what they're doing. There's lots of them that are like trying to make like amplifiers and things like that, but lots of people, they don't want to buy like amplifiers because who are you going to play them for, really? Like, not so many people are gigging, but there's lots more people making music in their house using, you know, like DAWs and all that kind of thing. So I wish some of these companies would focus on things like audio interfaces for guitarists. That would be nice if some company like Marshall or Mesa Boogie made an audio interface that would have the right impedance for guitars, and then maybe bundled it with some software so guitarists could, you know, play and have great tones. And all those things are cheap now. Effects, modelers for software are still a little bit expensive, but other things like slowing down songs, software to slow down songs, are much cheaper than it was before. So to me, I wish they would focus on that and look for a way forward. And of course, guitarists need to do things like that too, including me. So I'm going to try to do some original stuff, and hopefully on my channel I'll try to do something new, and I'll try to bring the guitar into the 21st century, at least as far as I can. I don't know if I can really do that myself, but let's everyone try, and let's keep guitar alive. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. As I said, comment below if you want me to talk about some other things like this in the future, and look out for that 100th video, and until next time, see you.